Hello and welcome to Dateline New Haven. I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make our community tick. Well, that word tick has a double meaning in the headline, maybe. I'm going to say that they don't really tick. But we're here to talk about a bug that's bugging a lot of people in New Haven and Connecticut right now, the spotted lanternfly, which I think is quite beautiful, to be honest. But we could talk about that. And people are concerned about the invasion of the spotted lanternfly, what it means for our trees and our communities, and what we're supposed to do, if anything, about it. We have someone in the studio today who probably knows more about it than anybody else, and he's the person people go to for answers to the question and is in charge of helping do something about it. His name is Jacob Ricker. He's the state entomologist. Can we say top bug guy?
That's right.
Top bug guy at the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station, one of the last civil society institutions that everybody trusts. So it's kind of nice to have him here. Jacob, thanks for making time today amidst all this busy work with spotted lanternflies to let us know what's going on.
Absolutely, Paul. Thanks for having me. And just to clarify, definitely one of the several dozen top bug people we have over at the station.
Okay, fair enough. But what does it
Yeah.
mean to be the state entomologist? Or are you a state entomologist?
I am one of, I believe there is 53 for the nation.
Oh, okay.
So there's one for Connecticut, and every other state's got sort of an equivalent position that helps us with sort of regulatory aspects of the plant pests and diseases that come in.
And so the plant pest of the day, of the hour du jour, is the spotted lanternfly.
Yes, the plant pest.
Everyone's talking about it. So it's in the past, I remember we talked about gypsy moths.
Right.
So
yes.
many that there was even something known as the gypsy moth Republican in Congress, which congressmen from northeastern states who were moderate Republicans and wanted to do something about gypsy moths destroying our trees. Then there was the West Nile virus, when everyone was calling up your predecessors and we were all eating outdoors this time of year and wondering how to cover up our arms and stuff.
Exactly.
So now you've issued a quarantine order, your office, the agri station, for the spotted lanternfly. What does that mean and why is it issued?
The quarantine order is for...
And if you get a little closer to the mic, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the quarantine order is primarily for businesses in the state that want to ship typically agricultural commodities, whether it be actual produce or tobacco or even agricultural equipment out of the state. We try to make sure that they are in compliance.
Does that mean that before you ship a bag of Macoun apples or Macintosh apples or a sheaf of, would it be a sheaf of tobacco, that or a machine that processes that, you want everyone to make sure that there aren't some tiny baby spotted lanternflies in there?
More or less, yes. Not every business has an agreement with us. They're already on top of the already endless quarantine and compliance things that we have in place. But with spotted lanternfly, where that's concerned, there are a few businesses that deal in annual plants like petunias and things like that, where they have to make sure that their commodities and their trucks and pallets are all free from spotted lanternfly, whether it be the actual adults or even the egg masses.
And why do you want to make sure of that?
So not every state has spotted lanternfly. Not every state has been gifted with the overabundance of this insect. So we're trying to make sure that we keep it all to ourselves and not spread the wealth, so to speak.
Can you stop it?
We are not able to...
Like if 7 get through, is that probably okay? But if 700, it's not?
That really depends on who the state you're talking to is. So every state has different concerns with this. So California being the most prevalent, I guess, concerned party here, they have a lot of skin in the game, whereas we don't have as much, but certainly have a lot of concern. So where I'm kind of leading that into is grapes. Spotted lanternfly is primarily a concern for grapes and grape production. And
why is that? They just take the grapes?
They are one of the only... So grape plants are one of the only plants spotted lanternfly can actually kill or destroy or cause some sort of real issue with that could cause plant mortality. And with grapes being so huge of an industry in a lot of our states, especially California, we try to make sure that we're not sending anything over there that they don't want.
What do we send to California? Apples?
So apples, primarily our industries could be more industrial aspects. Like we could send, we've got a lot of engineering companies here that send things over to California.
What kind of things?
Oh gosh, I couldn't tell you specifically. That's kind of on them. But we've got a lot of companies that try to, increase the trade, and we have a lot of economic impact here in Connecticut, just as every state does, and we send trucks everywhere.
And people are concerned in Connecticut. Now, when
Yes.
did the spotted lanternfly show up in Connecticut? And what is the spotted lanternfly?
So the spotted lanternfly is a really large plant hopper. A plant hopper is a type of insect, and spotted lanternfly is kind of unique in that it is pretty massive for a plant hopper.
Meaning it's big.
Yes, it's big. And where it was...
How big? You'd say like 4 inches across?
No, gosh, no. It's maybe about 1.5 inches wide with its wingspan and maybe about 1 inch sort of in length. But we first saw it. I didn't see it, but it was first sort of picked up on in Connecticut around 2020. I believe that was in... It was in Fairfield County foreshore, and I can't remember if it was in Fairfield, the town of Fairfield.
So somebody saw one.
Yes, it was reported, and we had to go through a more formalized investigation to officially confirm, and that was what.
And we were thinking about some other things in 2020.
We had a lot going on in 2020.
The COVID
for
going
sure.
on, yeah.
Yes, so we definitely had our hands full, and 2020 was definitely a busy year for a lot of reasons, and one of the things that happened was spotted lanternfly.
And when did it become a problem?
It was an issue or a challenge, I think, from the jump. So we had known it was coming or anticipated its arrival from the very beginning.
Why? What made you know it was coming?
It's a very good traveler. So how it came from Pennsylvania to New York to New Jersey is hitchhiking. So it likes to hop onto other vehicles or lay eggs onto anything stationary for any period
But at
of
some
time.
point, when did people start thinking about the spotted lanternfly? Did it come from China at some point, was it?
It came on a pallet of stone. I believe that was a story that was told to me, to Pennsylvania. I believe it came from China. I can't remember exactly.
And how long ago?
Gosh, I think that might have been 2012. But
So
for
all
us,
that time you
it's-
guys have been worried, are they going to spread?
Right. Yes. So
Is it kind of inevitable? Is it like one of those horror movies, like, in the end, this monster's going to get big?
well, at first we didn't know, right? It's so new to us, so novel of a pest that I think initially everybody thought they could control it. And from that point, you have this game plan, this current idea of how you'd like to prevent the spread. And that's what everybody's following. And you get the advice from your federal counterparts that tells you here's what they kind of expect and what they'd like to see. So from that point, you gear up and get ready. You get your people out there scouting and moving. But to some small extent, there's only so much you can do if the pest is far more vigorous or better at traveling than you might have anticipated.
So 13 years is a long time from when
It
they
is.
first thought about it. When did we start worrying about this in Connecticut? When did you issue your quarantine and everything?
The first state quarantine, I believe, was soon after in 2020.
Oh, we've had this for...
Yes, so we try to reinstate it every year, or at least we have.
But I never heard anyone talk, like the layperson. We haven't heard
Sure.
about these spotted lanternflies until like a few weeks ago.
That's surprising to us, if only because of how much we deal with it. I believe some towns like Bridgeport, Milford, and Orange would disagree with you totally.
New Haven is new.
New Haven feels new, but we have had reports for a number of years in New Haven. I think the explosion has definitely occurred pretty massively in New Haven this year.
This year.
Yes.
So what made that happen this year?
I think it's just established itself. Maybe the first couple of reports could have been hitchhikers, but now that we've had some small populations initiate themselves over maybe 2-3 years, they have grown and they're born and raised in New Haven now. These are New Haven spotted lanternfly.
And so, like, how many are there around here?
In terms of population estimate, I couldn't tell you. I think based on our reports, we get several dozen a day coming out of New Haven and the adjacent areas or towns.
And obviously, you don't hear about the vast majority of them.
So we don't have the people to follow up on every report, so we can't visually confirm the
I mean, we all
population.
see them. I mean, I see them.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But are we supposed to call you guys when we see them?
Definitely don't call us. Based on the volume of calls that we've received, we're just not able to handle it. We recommend a email if you have to, but our preferred is definitely, we have an online reporting tool, which
And why do you want people to report it if they're all over? What, like, if I were to have reported that I saw one on Saturday, although I couldn't because I can't go on the computer on Saturday, but what would that have helped you do if I told you I saw one Saturday?
So overall for the state, definitely report. For New Haven, we know it's in New Haven. We don't need reports from New Haven per se. But
So now that you know it's in New Haven, you have the explosion this year. Has this changed what you do what we're doing in New Haven? Are we reacting? The quarantine you said is about exports.
Right.
What else is being done about the spotted lanternfly?
Within our state agency, we do not have any treatments or maintenance in place. We don't have people that have been hired for that. We have people that are scouting and surveying, but beyond that.
And why are we scouting and surveying them?
So it's good to know the spread, and it's good to know what stage or life cycle they happen to be at. It lets us know how quickly they happen to be reproducing, what to look out for. If we know when they're laying eggs, we can be more proactive at certain periods of years or times of year to control them. So,
and are you doing control work?
No, but we do have federal counterparts within the USDA that are largely responsible for the control.
So you can give them the data?
Yes,
and
exactly.
do you?
We work very closely with our partners at the USDA.
We're talking to Jacob Ricker, who's the state entomologist, one of 53 in the country, top bug guy. And he's from the Connecticut Agricultural Experimentation Steer in New Haven, talking about the explosion this year about the spotted lanternfly. So why do we care about the spotted lantern? Besides the fact that they would eat the grapes and kill the plants in California, why are people so concerned about them here? Someone told me they killed trees. Is that true?
Initially, we had a lot of media out there saying that spotted lanternfly was going to be a massive threat to our forests. It's going to be the massive tree pest of the century, our new spongy moth or gypsy moth, if you will. But over time, we discovered that there was really no major tree death or mortality from spotted lanternfly. The primary concern was to the grapes. So we're looking out primarily for grapes. There is definitely concern for our orchards. So it will definitely feed on orchards. People don't like pick plants or apples from trees that have bugs on them. It can blemish the fruit as well. So there is a little more than just the grapes impacted, but actual plant death is only really occurring to our grapes.
So is this all just like here on your website? It says the spotted lanternflies are able to feed on more than 70 species of plants. It preferred host is tree of heaven.
Yes,
which is highly invasive and abundant along highways. What is tree of heaven?
Tree of heaven is an invasive tree we've had in the country for longer than I've been alive.
How old are you?
Oh gosh, do you want to know? 32.
So more than 32 years.
Yes. So this plant is a pretty persistent issue. It's invasive just like spotted lanternfly, but because it's had more time to procreate and exist all over the state or country, its favorite plant has also sort of taken root. So
whose favorite plant? Oh,
spotted lanternfly.
They help those trees, so it doesn't eat the tree.
It does eat the tree, and it likes the tree so much that when it feeds on it, it actually makes more eggs and stronger young from that.
So I'm going to ask you a really dumb question.
No, please.
Like an incredibly dumb question,
No,
because I'm not an entomologist. Until you came on the air today,
sure,
I had the idea from people that we have to really worry about the spotted lanternfly now and kill them because otherwise they're going to kill our trees. After listening to you, I have the impression that's an out-of-date picture. The only thing we have to worry about spotted lanternflies is that they'll get shipped somehow to California, eat all the grape plants, and that here they're going to kill a tree that's an invasive tree that we don't want. So might that be a good thing? Are the spotted lanternflies an invasive bug that's getting rid of an invasive tree we don't want?
You're asking a very good question. So
no
our information is definitely a little outdated, or I think I should say there's been a delay in getting the more correct information. We have a lot of grape growers in Connecticut, nowhere near the volume and scale.
Oh, we do have grape growers here.
Oh, absolutely. We've got a lot of vineyards, and highly recommend you enjoy them this time of year. They're great to visit, but it's what we see right now is they're not so much really invading the vineyards in Connecticut as they are residences. They're climbing on people's favorite trees, and people have this information that it's.
So what happens when they go on your trees? Why is that bad?
So it's not necessarily bad, but they will feed on it, and people have concern when they see swarms of insects or new insects feeding on their favorite tree or just any tree. And from that point, when we have information on the internet that says it's going to kill 70 different species of trees, that's not true information. The only real tree or plants it can kill are the grapes and the tree of heaven. If it killed all the tree of heaven, that'd be great, but it's not likely. So we are asking people, if they can, to actually remove tree of heaven from their properties.
Oh, remove tree of heaven.
Yes. So going forward,
is that because you don't want to be feeding the growth of this spotted lantern?
Exactly. If we can,
and that's because you don't want them to go. But it also sounds like, why aren't they going to the vineyards?
They certainly are. I think a lot of maintenance happens around the vineyards that is not necessarily pro spotted lanternfly, let's say. I think there probably is a lot more spotted lanternfly there than they may realize, but they might be preferring the tree of heaven on the outskirts of their property, not the actual grapes.
So if I were a vineyard person, I would just plant tree of heaven so that the lanternflies don't bother my grapes.
You've actually hit a pretty good maintenance strategy that some people have taken. No, I'm serious.
But you're asking people to get rid of the tree of heaven so they don't have more babies.
Right. So
they don't stow away to California.
Exactly.
And a lot of people hitchhike California. I mean, that started in the 60s. Yeah.
Right. But spotted lanternfly is kind of the newcomer. So we got to watch out for that one. He just spit out his drink. So
sorry.
Hey, listen. From a maintenance or like trapping standpoint, people do keep some small populations of tree of heaven around. And what they do is then treat that tree because all of the spotted lanternfly have focused to that one tree or those very few trees in the population. The average homeowner, just remove your trees. There's no reason for you to go above and beyond and keep a tree or two around.
Tree of heaven, which isn't a tree. It's not a tree.
Oh, that's a tree.
Tree of heaven's a tree.
Yes.
Okay. I never heard of it. It's a nice name.
I think
I'm feeling like you give me a lot of information I didn't know, but I'm feeling a little dumb about it. Because the more I hear about you, I feel like if I were in charge of the state, I would really want Jacob Ricker and his crew to know what's going on. I would want them to regulate so that we don't spread the spotted lanternfly to kill grapes in California. I would want them to help growers figure out the best way not to have problems. I would want them to reassure the public with information. But what I'm getting here that I didn't have before the show is I really feel like it's not that big a deal. I could be wrong. I mean, it doesn't sound like such a big danger except to the growers in California.
It's a big deal to...
I mean, you don't want rabbits coming in your plants either. I mean,
right. So it's alarming. It's alarming to see these insects when you haven't seen them before. In some states, they're seeing hundreds on their plants.
And that's the other thing that happened to me. So on Saturday, I was coming out of synagogue, and I have a favorite tree. It's this big tree. And I was sitting on the tree, marveling at the beauty of the arms of this tree.
Yes.
And I was next to a bush, and I looked down at the bush, and there was a spotted lanternfly. And being sort of in a nice mood, I wasn't on the phone or the internet. I was in a little bit of bliss. I thought, that is a beautiful insect.
It is.
And I thought, everyone, including my wife, are telling me we're supposed to kill these insects. And I'm thinking, first of all, why would I want to kill this beautiful insect? So then I thought, well, they're telling me they want us to kill this insect because it might kill this beautiful tree you're looking at.
Right.
And then I was thinking, but if I kill this insect, is that really going to determine the life or death of this tree, including in terms of how many insects are really out there? And is it really going to kill that tree? You're telling me it's not going to kill that tree.
It's unlikely.
It wasn't a tree of heaven, even though it was pointed to heaven.
Precisely. If you have a tree that's already sick with some other issue, maybe it's got another insect problem, it could put it on a faster track to mortality or death. But a healthy tree, you should not be concerned about spotted lanternfly unless it happens to be your favorite tree of heaven.
And first I heard, I was walking in the neighborhood a few weeks ago, and we passed a home with someone in Westville who had some device or like cloth and stuff wrapped around the tree that was catching the flies so they could kill them.
Yes.
Before they could kill the tree. But again, it wasn't a tree of heaven. So were they fooling themselves thinking they were doing something good?
No, I think a lot of people that want to be more proactive are using some of the what we call lampshade traps.
Yes.
Sometimes they happen to look like a lampshade or they're a piece of
It
cloth.
did.
Yes. So what they're encouraging is the adults to actually lay eggs on little sheets underneath this little lampshade that they've constructed around the tree. They lay the eggs there, and then they can actually squish or destroy the eggs that have been laid there. So the spotted lanternfly is wasting their time.
So
Locally, yes.
So you do want citizens to help you do that,
if possible, but it's a pretty big undertaking. We have a lot of differing demographics here that are concerned. I have a lot of calls from a lot of elderly people who are not necessarily able to remove plants or construct these traps. So what I recommend for them is different than what I recommend to necessarily other demographics.
And is that because you're just thinking psychologically people don't feel good to see swarms of insects?
That's true.
And are there swarms?
Swarms, there are, I don't know if swarm is the correct term. There is infestations in certain areas. So you could see, for some people, 7. You could see several dozen. Some people are seeing hundreds on the sides of their buildings.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, if there are hundreds of bugs on the side of a building, again, the problem would be is if they make babies that might find their way to California.
Sure.
But is there really any danger of people in Connecticut to see hundreds of these bugs on a building?
I don't think there is a danger. There's certainly no public health risk. That's been widely stated by many agencies, both in this state.
Because I remember how scared we were of the mosquitoes with the West Nile, because old people were dying. Not a lot, but there were deaths.
Right. No, that's definitely a concern.
And we have a holiday this time of year. The Jews were out in these huts where we eat outdoors. In 1 year with the West Nile, a lot of people, the rabbis were telling them, don't eat outside because you can get West Nile virus.
That's significant, for sure. But with spotted lanternfly, there's no human health risk. The closest we've seen is when they actually defecate. That's correct. Defecate in excess. They have very sticky residue that they leave behind. That actually causes a mold to be created on whatever surface they are, let's say, exuding onto. And from that point, it causes a very slippery, sticky surface that is probably not wise to have on your steps, or maybe some area where people are going to be walking. But that is sort of a uncommon or rare occurrence. I think with spotted lanternfly, there's no real human health concern other than the sort of nuisance that it's causing.
It's so interesting to me the way, whether it's like life or death stuff like COVID or small things like bugs or nature, how a little bit of information gets out before we know the whole story and people start really worrying. And I think sometimes humans think it's up to us, because it is up to us to protect the environment, no question about that, and deal with climate change. But some things are a little bit beyond our control sometimes in nature. And I wonder if that elderly person is calling you about urgently needing to take some steps against spotted lanternflies. Is that more about the psychology of the elderly person, or is that more about public safety and health in our environment?
I think my biggest...
I know it's not the kindest question to ask.
No, I think what is really important about talking to anybody over the phone when I am in contact with them is education. We are trying to make sure that people are as well informed as they can be and are being heard. But our advice is to probably direct that more towards an email if possible, whereas spotted lanternfly is concerned. We are not recommending people call because of the sheer volume that we're receiving.
And what's the volume? You have any kind of numerical measurement of volume of inquiries you have?
So I get a couple... I get, let's say, about a dozen a day, depending on the day.
On phone or email?
That would be by phone. But we have many insect inquiry people. Like, we have an insect inquiry office both in New Haven and also in Windsor. We have two separate, satellite areas where people can call for insect-related things.
And how many are they getting?
I haven't gotten an accurate number for, let's say, today, but they get several dozen, if not... at least a handful a day.
And what percentage of your time and the ag team's time is now consumed with spotted lanternfly related matters?
I could only speak to myself. It's definitely a sizable amount, but for us, talking to the public is an important aspect.
You're talking to the public. Is this most of what you're talking to them about these days?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of interesting.
What
are you talking about when it's not spotted lanternfly?
Other concerning bugs or diseases. So we're still on the lookout for Asian longhorn beetle. This is a beetle that we have never seen in the state of Connecticut, but it's been in our sort of neighboring states like Massachusetts and New York. That would be significant for us.
What would happen if they come?
They would, more than likely, they would make a serious dent into whatever trees that we have in that area. So it doesn't move as quickly, let's say like a spotted lanternfly, but it can still travel. Asian longhorn beetle is a hardwood pest, so things like maple trees, which we have a lot of, would be the primary concern.
And would they be able, if they came in here, they'd kill a lot of maple trees?
They would kill a lot of maple trees, but our response would be a lot different because it's regulated differently, both federally and within the state.
By different, do you mean more proactive?
More control or maintenance. So there's been less movement on the actual maintenance and control of spotted lanternfly compared to other insects.
Meaning you'd find out where nests are and stuff like that?
Where nests are, where the beetle may happen to be. So we'll scout for it. We'll look for signs or symptoms of sick or diseased trees or trees that may be affected by these beetles, and we'll go from there. But that hasn't happened in Connecticut. Knock on precious wood.
Jacob Ricker's the state entomologist. I've learned a lot both before the show and on the show about what he does, and it's interesting what he does. He's told us a lot about the spotted lanternfly and the work he's doing with it at the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station, which really is the trusted #1 source of information in our city for all matters like this. Jacob, what do you do when you're not keeping track of spotted lanternflies?
We are looking into all manner of different pests or diseases that may be impacting both our agriculture or our forest here in Connecticut. We are constantly trying to keep tabs on different things happening in other states or other countries to make sure that, we are on the lookout. We are trying to make sure that we have outreach materials available. I have 2 inspectors that make sure that nurseries are getting inspections and that they're apparently free of pests and diseases. We have people working for us that survey for insects or diseases that have never been seen in the country before, but would be devastating to us.
And do you enjoy the work?
I love this work. I think it is very valuable. I think sometimes it is not a lot of good news can happen in a day, but I think where we're standing, we're making sure that everyone is as informed as they can be.
And the difference you make sort of is when there's no news.
No news is great news. Yeah.
But do you like bugs?
I love bugs.
Do you think we're all going to be eating them for a protein?
That remains to be seen, right? I think
it's an exotic thing now. Yeah.
It's it's the latest and greatest. I think they're making ant ice cream now. I think that's the new one I've heard. So I've eaten many bugs.
Not rushing out for that one.
I haven't enjoyed every bug I've eaten, but I've certainly eaten many. And
do you think it's a good answer to some of the planetary protein concerns?
Yeah, for more proteinaceous sources of good nutrients and things like that. No, I think if it comes down to it, we'll have to, right? But culturally, I don't think the United States is ready for that.
So your job is about bugs to look out for.
Yes.
Do you like bugs?
Oh, bugs are great. I think I really love bees or other pollinators.
I love bees too.
Bees are great.
I love watching bees.
We've also got a state apiary inspector in our office. She does great work.
And what about the spotted lanternfly? Can you say anything nice about the spotted lanternfly? You don't have to. But...
No, I think I could. Because
I do think it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful
insect.
Just
watched this. It didn't fly away. I was kind of transfixed. I think, why would I want to kill that bug?
It's impressive. I think it's a very impressive insect. It is not necessarily as helpful ecologically as we would like, but definitely other wasps or birds are eating it too. So,
and what's our end game here with the spotted lanternfly? How's this shake out? If they get established here permanently, it's just going to be part of our permanent landscape, and it's going to be them versus trees of heaven, and we'll just get used to it, or is there like it's going waves, and eventually they're all going to just hike out to California, and it'll be Gavin Newsom's problem?
We can expect within the next few years to see a pretty sharp decline in spotted lanternfly, but as of right now, so that's a good question. The predators in our sort of environment haven't necessarily gotten used to these insects yet, and the populations haven't adjusted to sort of combat that. It's novel, it's new to us. So those birds, those other insects that may be eating spotted lanternfly are still getting used to it, and those populations of spotted lanternfly are still increasing.
So which birds and insects eat them?
A lot of generalist or a lot of regular insect-feeding birds.
Like?
Oh gosh, I mean, I can't name it.
Hawks, eagles,
no,
terns,
not our major, larger birds.
Doves,
it's going to be
pigeons.
Oh gosh, I'm sure even robins eat spotted lanternfly after a point, but where it's not being significant enough is because those robin populations or other bird populations, let's say, haven't necessarily expanded to combat that issue.
So is it accurate to say that even if we don't quash every spotted lanternfly we see and report it to you, that the birds are going to get used to them and eat them, and so in 2 years we're not going to see as many around?
That's our hope.
But we're going to keep our eyes out for the Asian longhorn beetle.
We would love that. Please let us know if you see it.
I learned so much. I really enjoyed meeting you, Jacob. And thank you so coming on the air. I hope you come back sometime, maybe with better news. We'll celebrate a new spotted owl or something.
That would be great. That would be a different person. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Paul.
And thanks to Harry Drost, as always, behind the controls. We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience performing I Wish I Knew How It'd Feel to Be Free from the group CD, A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all day and all night long at WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.